But the reason, I mean, if I actually said everything, everyone would be like, wow, that is very valid of why you are upset.
And what for you, because I know you did release a video on Instagram saying that you were done with franchise. And I want to ask you about that. I know you don't want to say too much, but just explain for the Us Weekly listeners, maybe what was behind that and why you did it. But also looking back, do you regret doing that? Are you happy to kind of start getting things off your chest? Like, how has it felt? But can you just explain a little bit?
People think that I'm just like have this vendetta against this franchise now. I really don't. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful to have been a part of it. I think I wouldn't have traded it for anything in this world, but it's the frustrations that I was having. A lot of people do, and they just don't vocalize it because they're so afraid. What happened to me is that I just had it with them, and I am very vocal and opinionated. And I was going to let my viewers know like what's going on instead of stay quiet. I'm not a person that stays quiet, as we clearly know. And I just got really upset. Would I have done it differently all over again? Absolutely. I think I should have, worked through my emotions and then said something. But I was so hurt and upset at that time. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. I didn't say much, really, even in the small clip that I did post, and I still don't talk about it now. So no one will ever know the truth behind it. I mean, maybe one day, but I'm just going to finally put my foot down and stop being used, because I'm not a secondary person. Like, I'm a primary person in my life. I put myself first, and it was time for me to stop catering to them. Yeah. So that's the way that I felt about it. And a lot of people supported me, surprisingly, which made me so happy. Like, I remember I was flying the next day and I'm like crying at the airport because I'm reading all these messages. Like, I didn't expect it to be like that, because I'm like, oh, everyone in this franchise hates me anyways. Like, what did I have to lose? Nothing. So yeah, I'm happy to just give myself some distance with the franchise for now. Who knows if I'll be back? Who knows what's going to happen in the future? But it's kind of like a toxic relationship. I just need to give my space right now, and maybe we can work on things in the future if there's any changes that are legitimate that they want to change.
Right. Because is there a way that the show, it is only 2 hours a week, whatever you want to say, however, whenever, whatever's airing. Is there something that you think the show can do to make it where, people get a fair shot, or there is, because there's always going to be a main character, I guess, in some sense, but to make people feel like at least they're trying to get a shot at being the main character? Or what would you do or like to see as far as change, both just on the show, the way they treat you guys, or just like as viewers, what viewers should see?
I think the viewers have a huge impact on it. I think they've definitely dwindled down more from just like the generic all-American girl, especially with like COVID and like the whole movements that happened after COVID. I think that's where it needs to start. But the changes that they say they're doing, I want to see it actually implemented in a serious way, and not just be like, oh, like, yeah, we're doing this, like, it's fine. We're at least trying, but it's like, you can try harder. You have the power to try harder, but I don't know. I just feel so alienated from it, because it's something I worked hard to get where I have gotten in that franchise, and it just went so unnoticed. And I wonder if it would have been more noticed if I looked like the all-American girl, and listen, I get it. I gravitated towards those girls too, but like, that's the reason why I had a major identity crisis when I was a kid, because I want to look blonde, blue-eyed, these beautiful girls that I thought was the American version of beauty. And I hate talking about it because I hate bringing up like race, but it really made me feel like I was so alienated, because it's something that I can't change about myself. Like, I will never be blonde. I could dye my hair, but that would look really weird. I would look like a K-pop star. And there's just very few people that represent people who look like me in that franchise. And I really tried to fight hard to be that person that represents a lot of us that are out there. But it was just really hard to navigate through that, and yeah, I don't know. I just felt really frustrated because I put in a lot of work, and it felt like it was just for nothing.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. I'm sorry that, it's probably a lot also, because I know you've been doing interviews.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. Yeah. And you've kind of implied, just to fill in the Us Weekly listeners, that you were working on a project with the franchise. It's no longer happening. There was a disagreement that hurt your feelings, something along those lines. Does that kind of sum up what you've said?
That pretty much sums it up. Maybe the real reason will come out at some point, But the reason, I mean, if I actually said everything, everyone would be like, wow, that is very valid of why you are upset. But no one ever sees it that way, you know, because they're like, oh, she was upset because she didn't get Family Feud. And I'm like, what?
Family Feud.
That was my dream. How dare I?
You wanted to meet Steve Harvey that bad.
So bad. I'm like, let's put two and two together here. Like something had to have been really that detrimental for it to hurt my feelings. And I don't get my feelings hurt that easily. It hurt.